Are you interested in and are looking for a gaming motherboard? You can check out the Asus gaming motherboard model TUF X870 Plus. Asus.com, 310 fake Federal Reserve notes. This costs 310 fake Federal Reserve notes. It's a gaming motherboard designed for gaming. I'm going to cut to the technical specifications, Chase. There's an image here. Central Processing Unit. It supports advanced micro devices, sockets, AM5 type microprocessors for the advanced micro devices Ryzen 9000, 8000, and 7000 series desktop processors. The chipset supports advanced micro devices X870 chipset. It is the model TUF Gaming X870 Plus, and it does support Wi-Fi. I'm not sure why that's part of the model, but whatever. Memory, there are 4 dynamic inline memory module slots for a maximum of 192 gigabytes of random access memory. They support dynamic data rate 5, supports up to 8,000 plus. I never talk about that subject, so I'm not going to continue on. I never give out advice, I never guarantee, I never recommend anything. But it does support the Ryzen, which this is redundant, 9000, 8000, and 7000 series microprocessors. Eric, I'm not going to discuss that subject either. It does support non-buffered dynamic inline memory module. And then dual channel memory. Okay, what else? Okay, there's some disclaimers. Graphics. It has one high-definition multimedia interface port. There is a disclaimer. There are 2 Universal Serial Bus 4, which is 40 gigabits per second bandwidth. And it does support 2, well, it just says, yeah, it does support Universal Serial Bus Type-C display outputs. There's disclaimer. It just says that the graphics specifications may differentiate depending upon the different central processing unit types. It does support 4K video at 60 Hz that is included in high definition multimedia interface version 2.1. The maximum would be 4K at 60 Hz, and it does support DisplayPort version 1.4. Now it actually supports VGA, Video Graphics Array, which is old school. But it does support it, and it will depend on the processor or the graphics card resolution. Expansion slots. It has 1 personal computer interconnect version 5. I believe that's peripheral computer interconnect. That's an old school acronym. Version 5, the X16 type slot. It does support X16 mode. There is a disclaimer. There is 1 PCI 4 X16 slot that supports X8 and X4 mode. There is a disclaimer. I believe it's peripheral component interconnect. Advanced micro devices X870 chipset is supported. 1 peripheral component interconnect version 4. The X16 slot, it does support X4 mode. Another disclaimer. Just all kinds of disclaimers. Okay, storage. It supports a total of 4 M2 slots and only two. Yeah, only 2 SATA 6 gigabyte ports. That's a little bit peculiar there. A lot of motherboards support 4. I'm not sure why only 2, and that could limit you. These advanced micro devices, Ryzen 9000, 7000 desktop processors would be supported the M2 1 slot, the 2280, the peripheral component interconnect Express version 5. Okay. It also supports peripheral component interconnect version 4 X4 mode. The M2 2 slot not support, but it does support 2.1 slot. It does support RAID, but I don't discuss subjects like that because I never give out advice, I never guarantee, and I never recommend anything. RAID, redundant array, blah 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 blah, Ethernet. There is one 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, and then wireless. It does support Wi-Fi 7, 2x2 Wi-Fi 7, 802.11be. It does support the 2.4 gigahertz, the 5 gigahertz, and the 6 gigahertz. The 2.4 gigahertz is a longer range band, and the 5 is a shorter range. The bandwidth, 160 megahertz bandwidth, up to 2.9 gigabits per second transfer rate. That would be Wi-Fi 7. It does support Bluetooth version 5.4. Universal Serial Bus, I have 2 minutes. 10 total ports. There are 2 Universal Serial Bus 4. This is redundant. 40 gigabits per second. 2 that accept Universal Serial Bus Type-C. There are 3 Universal Serial Bus 10 gigabits per second ports. 3 of those that are Type A. There are 4 Universal Serial Bus 5 gigabits per second ports bandwidth that are Type A. There is one, I don't even know why, but there is one Universal Serial Bus 2.0 port, Type A. That's older school, that's old, and the bandwidth is quite low compared to Universal Serial Bus 3.0. I'm not sure if that's for backwards compatibility. I'm not really sure why, but whatever. Now, that's just the rear. There are 7, the number 7 total front Universal Serial Bus ports. That was the rear. So 17 total Universal Serial Bus ports are supported. 1 Universal Serial Bus 20 gigabits per second connector supports Universal Serial Bus Type-C with up to 30 watt fast charge. 1 Universal Serial Bus 5 gigabits per second header support. 2 Universal Serial Bus 2.0 header support. I don't know why they accept that. The older school, decades old, I think even 2.0, but whatever. Yeah, the Universal Serial Bus Type-C, the maximum power delivery output is 5 volts, 3 amps. Okay, audio. Is there a 3.5 millimeter jack? Let me see if there's a what's in the box before I proceed any further. Special features. How about... No. Now, it is ATX form factor. The operating system on screen, it should support Linux. No guarantees, but it very well may support Linux operating system. Accessories. Now, these are accessories I'm not going to go over because that's an additional cost. BIOS, basic input-output system. I never discuss that subject because I never guarantee anything, I never recommend anything, and I never give advice. When it comes to flashing a BIOS, you need to proceed with caution. Even nowadays, you can brick your computer doing that, and that's why I never discuss that subject anymore. Software features, okay. Let me go back and see if there is what's in the box. There may not be because it's a motherboard. No, there isn't. That is this video pertaining to this. Remember, it's a gaming motherboard. Asus gaming motherboard, the TUF X870 Plus model. Adios!